They are a league-leading team. Okay. I forgot to connect my headphones and they just died. So let me, yeah, if I forget to hook them up, then they just shut down. Now we're hooked up. That draw against Arsenal is now shown in a different light. Okay, you've got the draw against Arsenal. And then, if we look at what they've done over the last 4 matches, a 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace, right? Which Crystal Palace isn't having a great season. But you also get your red card down here in the 61st minute. You got a missed penalty for Wolves in this game. So, you know, I think most people look at that and go, you know what? That's a pretty Rapscallions defeat. Defeat that. They then were home against Villa and Liverpool. They won maybe 2 top 6 teams. And the only reason it's not one of the top 6 is because Liverpool is the one in 6th. Right? They have played 3 of the top 6 teams in the Premier League and gotten 7 points from them in the last 4 matches. There are not a lot of teams in the Premier League that would be able to.
I got free kick. What the?
People should be pointing out instead of the fact that Wolves pulled out this miraculous upset. Wolves would become this grim reaper. Wolves would have 2 of their 3 wins for the entire season with back-to-back matches to get the 16 points. We're still 1 points to safety, and everybody has a match at hand on them. Why am I saying they actually have a chance? Well, there is one incredibly obvious reason that Wolves still has a chance. Their remaining 8 matches are a fucking joke. They have, I would be willing to wager, maybe the easiest schedule of any team left in the Premier League. They dodge teams in the top 6. And they dodge the vast majority of the teams. I mean, they Brentford away. It's that is their toughest by-table match that they have left. Then away against West Ham, away against Leeds. Those are 2 teams that are currently involved in the relegation phase. Seems obviously there right now. Leeds has been tap dancing on the lid the entire season. They are then at home against the rolling ICU that is London. They are at home against Sunderland, even though Sunderland's in the relegation picture has not been good. They've been way down the table.
Oh, Turbin's not playing?
Then at home against Fulham, that's 2, let's say, quote-unquote, mid-table teams. And then they are in Burnley to end the season. It is a shit stack running, this Wolves team. A Wolves team currently that just got 7 points from 3 matches against the top 6 teams in the league. There is one thing that people are overlooking about this. If you have played for Wolves, if you've been a fan of Wolves, if you have been working in the cafeteria of Wolves this season, there has been a dark cloud hanging over this club.
Good save.
A pit of despair and depression that is slipping into East relegation. I mean, with 10 matches left to play, Wolves was on 10 points. And 28 matches played, subtract 6 for these 2 wins, they were on 10 points. Before they drew Arsenal, they were on 9. They were on 8 points. 8.
Man, I saw that at the corner.
In February, they were on 10 points with 10 matches left. It was, at that moment, completely inconceivable, completely impossible, especially with games against Villa and Liverpool coming up. Most likely going to nearly mathematically single. They've now won those 2 matches. Then there are a bunch of nervous, not very good teams floating around. Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Burnley. Burnley's already down. I'm convinced Burnley's more down. Wolves season's Wolves club, so showing this life that nobody's. Now, if you do the math here, Wolves has to make up essentially 5 wins on these teams, which means you need one of Leeds, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. Have an awful run. They win them. And the door is open. And don't tell me that's impossible. People do that. Right. You need one of these these three teams now, and they've been one of their last 8. In this case, one of their last 10. We're going to need a few more injuries for that to happen. Now, of course, West Ham is going to be trying to fight their way out of this as well. But if you're Wolves, you're going to have to also clear West Ham. You have a match against them, which is going to help, but they are still 12 points ahead with a match in hand. If Wolves is going to do this, it needs to win at least 6 of these 8 matches. The fact that you, now that you've seen this, the fact that you, now that you're experiencing this with me, can at least see the roadmap, can at least see the possibility for 6 wins out of these 8 matches. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Pretty insane. Makes you want to root for it a little bit. This was supposed to be a video about how funny it is that Wolves keeps doing this to teams, but then I realized that we might be sitting on the precipice of history. And if it does happen, it'll look like a genius. And if they turn into the Wolves that have shown the entire season before the last 2 matches, they aren't going to win any of these matches, and they are going to go sailing down to the championship singing sea shanties. And that is, of course, also possible. But the lifting of that dark cloud, the effect that has on a team's psyche. Like, if you ever watch the old Sunderland-led documentaries when they're getting relegated out of the championship, just the amount of depression, like the amount of overwhelming depression that seems to occur in those instances. Everybody knows what's coming. The writing is all over the wall. It's not even a debate. Right? And all of a sudden, somebody just poked a hole through the clouds. I mean, you saw the celebrations in the holiday when they scored to beat Liverpool. We're playing free, we're having fun. I mean, they weren't going into the match against Liverpool thinking we're going to stay up on the Prem. They were just playing the match. And there's been a magic for Wolves in the last month. Just play the match. One piece of the pressure will get there. Spread through. It is game on. So that is their toughest match left. They can show up in that match and get a good result. Draw or win. It's game on. And if they win that West Ham match, everybody else will be making this video and pointing this out. I just have the guts to go work.
Arsenal are in a bit of a weird spot right now because in the past, people think Arsenal have been...
What the fuck was that shot at him? Oh.
You think of the GgNoRaGe goal versus Norwich, and that is what you think when you think of the Arsenal. Now, of course, it is a bit different. And this, for me, is not just a Mikel Arteta thing, because, again, 3-4 years ago, he first came to the club with the youthful players, Saka the wing, Smith, Rowe, Reece Nelson, Martinelli. They had quite a youthful group, and they were playing some really nice, attractive football. But didn't get over the line in any overall seasons, in any traditional level.
Oh, man, I thought he made that.
So yeah, why is there critique about them playing a different way of football if it actually means they win more football games? Last night, Arsenal beat Crystal Palace with the Emirates 1-0. A game that took the past. They may have been able to Crystal Palace and play Manchester City beating again the Emirates. It's usually a tough game to go to as Crystal Palace was a decent side. Manager David Hughes came out of the game saying that Arsenal did not play football, even if the players on the pitch, even if Campbell went to the actually really seemed to him big play football. This of course brings the people who are against Arsenal or for Arsenal. For me, I don't really mind either way. If I had to pick it up, I'd pick Arsenal. That's what we've got. The Premier League need to kind of because that's not what Arsenal did there. That's what made it. This was in relation to the goalkeeper, David Raya. That was time wasted in the game. Then that he went down to receive treatment in the second half. That was necessary and just argued about the fact the game was just not enjoyable for any neutral to watch. Let's go to that day. Arsenal make their own rules. That's the way of playing. I would never be that kind of manager who tries to play. And in the context of this stats, what we see is ultimately this stats highlights that Arsenal took 30 minutes and 51 seconds to restart play against Brighton last night. which is the highest total in a match this season. However, this is just the highest for Arsenal. This isn't the highest total any team this campaign. This is actually 22nd in games. It's still quite a lot, but it is the national highest. Also keep in mind goal kicks. Knowing the fact that there was a lot more goal kicks that Arsenal had due to the biggest having a lot of play, player that much sometimes. And this is my main point of it. And I get both sides where may not be too impressed about Arsenal playing because they are stuck, say, relying too much on set pieces. I think I saw a stat the other day that Arsenal scored joins the most goals corners in the Premier League in one era. And there's still 8-9 games left to go. And I can see why people would be annoyed by this, especially if you're a City fan or a Spurs fan, of course. But look, if Arsenal haven't won a title in 22 years, Arsenal have played good football in the past under Mikel Arteta, failed and didn't have that physical edge to them, wasn't smart with the ball. If they don't win a title in all this time, after being laughed at for not having the bottle to get it over the line, if they try something different and be just a hard-to-beat team, a grueling physical team, and if it's been more successful for them, then isn't that just fair game at that point? Is it how we all want to watch football? No, of course we all love to see beautiful attacking football, goals from range, players taking men on. But the reality is, this isn't football like what it was back in the stage. People, what the reality is, not many teams play real football. So I do want you to have a look at how you think about Arsenal. There's going to be like 4 or 5 minutes. Sure, why not? I've never known how do you feel about it. If you know, tell me how do you feel, especially now that you've got points and you're now 7 points clear. With not that long to go, but things can change really fast. That is true, but all kind of expecting Arsenal to at some point just kind of drop points again.
Okay. What the?
Been used to almost near
this for that shot, one shots.
5-6 years. City aren't the same team as it used to be. They're just not. Defensively, they're a lot more pro, and I think that attacking-wise, they're a bit more predictable. Like if you mark out Haaland, there's a lot less threat there compared to what it used to be. And that's why I said in my video, I think the other day, that City, they're a good form, but I think there's always every now and then compared to back in the day. Oh yeah, and of course, there's all the signs of this one. So the Super Arsenal fans saying that we've seen champion teams right now.
Okay, right.
But they do it, it's called this mentality of
mentality. At least say the yellow.
And I think that's fair. In this game, Arsenal booed by Brighton fans almost the entire game. Even in the first half, even playing in terms of throwing times by Opta, they're not even like top of any of these stats in terms of throwing. They're only top ones. Average time delayed by restarting play. Arsenal are in the top 6. Throw-ins, they're in the top 5, and corners, they're in the top 5. Good 11 times. Right. And when they're so good, they're so good. Corners, do you blame them for taking their time? Again, to reiterate, do I want attractive, fast balling? Do I want players to go out first, go past and shoot the range? I would like that. I would love that. That's not what football is. So that is just what leads to this weird kind of situation where you're fighting between what is actually logical and what is what. And it's still a deliberate as a president. I wish it could, because when you come out with statements such as if they Arsenal win the Premier League, no one will ask how they won. And sometimes their reliance on set pieces have been called out and deserve to be called out, because sometimes you think where would they be if they didn't have this in the locker? But they do have it in their locker, so it is a factor. In all play, they've not scored as many goals as sides. It's true. But looking back at how Jose Mourinho won, that was quite a defensive, resolute, physical side. And they look back at it as the best defensive team in Premier League history, and they look back as a positive thing. Like there has always been different. So the Conte in one way. So Alex for United, very different to Pep, the City, or Klopp and Liverpool. There's different ways to win. That's the City. That's how Arsenal won. They won. So I kind of want this to be almost like a I guess to kind of comment down below and discuss one from another. Do you think this could have negative
Ref.
effects to handle penalties.
Oh.
But we'll be seeing it where corners now have become like a mini rugby match where they just pack the 6-yard box and the goalkeeper so much for players that makes you think, why didn't we do this the entire time to cause so much chaos to argue players? I mean,
Oh my God, Suarez, that was a horrible miss.
it clearly works because it's so hard to mark out players and especially kind of block out the goalkeeper when you can't play the ball. This is kind of downstream, down football, down the levels, because it doesn't take any sort of real skill. You just need some decent physical players and someone to get a really good delivery to the box system. That's all you need. It's like long throws, and you always don't like long throws in sport. That's been the theme for the last 10 years. Even though that the throws are going on long throws. So how come now, suddenly this year, people realised, oh yeah, long throws, that exists because it's a way to get the ball as possible. I saw, whether it's a Burnley game, Everton v Burnley, that Everton's got a kick-off by just collecting the ball at kick-off and rooting it as high as he can to the sky so that a Burnley defender can have to deal with it, basically. And in that situation, almost give the ball back to Everton. What was becoming almost too scientific in the data-driven into the most highest percentages of getting the ball back in each scenario. And is it surprising? No, because these are the ways to get a slight edge in the game. That is what that matters. And if you're someone who seems to play the way you want to be back to used to be, then I don't blame you. But maybe high level top football, maybe just give it a bit of things.
Oh, one down. Oh, how the fuck did that go in?
Because they find more enjoyment watching, authentic kind of football. Then the Premier League is getting top flight football. I've got United fans that don't really watch United, it's kind of cool. Instead, I'm actually going to support their local team in like League 2 or something. But the others are being taught from a young age how to take the least risk. It is being taught how to do because it's all about consistency. I don't blame people for kind of less of an interest in it. I'm feeling the same also now, but it probably doesn't have a Burnley don't at the moment. Probably, to be honest, in the championship next year, I'll probably enjoy football again. I might have a bit more fun. I may actually have players in the way being able to take the Premier League. The level's so high. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Everyone knows. Like and subscribe. See you next time. See you.
Switzerland, home of some delicious chocolate and bakes that help U.S. billionaires evade taxes. However, in the midst of all of that bank fraud, there is a club located in the heart of the country that's taking the Swiss Super League by storm, FC Gouda. Amongst the big clubs in Switzerland, like Basel or Young Boys, the latter of which has a squad value 4 times more than Gouda, it's this club making waves because they're positioned to win their very first title, their very first major trophy in general since being founded in 1890.
Damn it, boy.
It's pretty fun. It's going to go pretty fast because honestly, there's just not
I don't know what he even did. I don't even know what he did to even get that second yellow. Taking like the worst angle. He got me fucking parked the bus at this point. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And that's about it. Now, I know that wasn't a lot of detail, but like I said, there isn't a whole lot else to talk about. I mean, they did get second place here. They made the Champions League stage. They got runners-up in
Oh my God, they got a free kick right there. That's a good ass spot.
There wasn't any trophy success during this period. Is there any consistent European competition?
Oh my God. Yes, sir. W Chinese.
big to overcome. Seoul, on the other hand, who was their relegation rivals, won a late goal, meaning would go to the relegation playoffs, where they would lose 5-4 on get to lose.
Oh my God, boy. What is it, yellow? A warning, WWF, WWF.
And second place would have to go into that playoff. Unfortunately, their title rivals won on the final day, so Seoul would have to go to the playoffs yet again. And yet again, Seoul would break their first
Let's tackle for window. For the badge.
In the 21-22 season, they got fifth, and nothing happened.
Oh,
They finished sixth.
he's outside? I was about to say that he was outside. We got 7 minutes in the gym. Get this trophy.
Get the worst heartbreak of any of the past few seasons. When I say something good would happen, I lie. They finished second to Seoul again, which meant that they had to go to the promotion playoff again. And there, they lost to Grasshopper again. This time, though, in dramatic fashion. A 97-minute penalty for Grasshopper.
Every time was.
Second leg won them the tie, leaving
Tiki Taka.
in the playoffs and in the second division for yet another season. I'm sure those 5 years were hell for Toon. I can't even comprehend the level of hatred that they have received. Because just imagine for a second, right, that your club was tied playing at the top level on 3 separate occasions.
You ref. Oh, hell nah, ref, come on. Oh, man, no, don't tell me you lost the play. Take your time, take your time.
Because while it wasn't the longest promotion season, it was one that featured a strong.
Oh my God, the left side is so open. Oh no. Oh yeah. W tackle.
First place and get promoted to the top flight yet again. Before moving on, I was wondering second that probably weirdest season I have ever seen. Their opening 6
Time waste.
decent runs of results. Then they won
Time waste.
9 matches in a row.
Oh my God.
Then they followed that with 7 draws in a row.
Just waste the time. Just waste the time. Hoop that bitch. Kick that. Kick it. Yeah.
This was the opposite of that. Half a decade of absolute hell has led to the rebirth of FC2. And this is where the comparisons to Leicester City and the Albion.
That's how you win a trophy. 10 men in the dream. It's our first trophy of the season. That's how you win a trophy. Yes, sir.
They're just trying to make it feel better for saying something. That courage,
the refereeing was questionable.
In the squad ever since 2020, like not giving up after
And
in a lot of the players that they have.
this should be like Champions League.
This past summer with 4 permanent transfers and 2 loans. So just 6 players in total. Of those 6 players, 1 has been a bust, 1 has been sent on loan, 1 has barely
How did they win the
and
XG
1,
battle?
although having good performances, has missed 8 of the 26 league matches. That means a lot of their success was based around players that they already have. Players who had fought for promotion and formed a relationship with the club and community, something that the manager and the president were trying to accomplish. This tight-knit unit, along with their courage and their confidence, was
crazy.
in full view during their very first league match back in the top flight. And this is where the tone would be set for the entire season. Now, they were facing Lugano away, a club who has been in and around the top spots the last few seasons. And it seemed like it would be a bad day for Toon as Lugano opened the scoring just 16 minutes into the game. But not only would they level the match in the 63rd minute from a penalty, the exact same player would then
So the
put them
first
ahead
two,
with
they
a
get
great
Champions
free kick
League.
in the
Third place
85th
gets
minute, turning out to
Europa.
be the match
Fourth
winner.
gets
Coming back
Conference.
against a top club in the competition, away from your home ground, in your first match back in the very top flight is an insane accomplishment. And that would lead to 4 wins and a draw in their first 5 matches, including another comeback away from home. Then they had to play Basel and Young Boys, who have won 15 of the last 16 league titles. Granted, they did put up a fair fight, but yeah, no, like that is tough. Their no quit mentality kicked in though, as they won the next 6 matches in a row, 2 of them being comebacks. Another rough patch followed, as they would only earn 3 points out of a possible 12 from their next 4 games.
I won't go
But their
attacking this
great
game,
start
the whole
to the
game.
season would keep them in first place. 2 convincing
Nah, bro, we
wins,
got too many
including a
champions.
comeback from 2-0 down at halftime, would see them stay on top of the table before the halfway
No
point of the league
midfielders out there.
and before the winter break. But St. Gallen was close behind them. But the key word being was. Something happened over that winter break. Now, I'm not sure what it was. Maybe they spent time with their families and came back refreshed. Maybe they got in contact with the descendants of witches that were killed in Salem in order to get spells for themselves, but also hexes to put on their opponents, all in exchange for that famous Swiss chocolate and access to those Swiss bank accounts to further promote their witchy schemes and take over the world. Maybe they had some good training sessions. It could really be any one of those 3 things. Whatever happened, it has led to Thun winning every single match since coming back from winter break. That is 7 wins in a row. That's actually 9 wins in a row.
I swear we had a backup right back
before the break. They are on such a dominant run right now that 7 of those 9 wins were by 2 goals or more. 29 goals scored, 8 goals conceded. That is averaging 3 goals scored a match and less than 1 conceded during this run. Oh, and this run also includes beating Sion 1-0 to get their 3rd win over them this season. The club that has haunted them so many times in just the past few years alone is now getting its ass handed to them by this plucky, courageous, tight-knit squad that is currently leading the Swiss Super League. FC Thun. Now, they're currently first in the league with 12 matches to go, and they have established an incredible 14-point gap. And while I don't think that they're going to continue winning for the rest of the season, I do think that they'll keep up their very, very good form. And the stats back that up as well. I mean, let's just rattle off a few, shall we?
Like, we should not have no trouble in the season at all.
Which was on October 4th.
Besides Benfica and then Benfica and Porto.
They have the most goals scored and the least goals conceded in the entire league. At the moment, there are 4 players with 10
I'm 4-2-3-1. Okay.
with the person currently hitting that pursuit. They also have 18 players with a goal, which is the 2nd most in the league, meaning that not just one person is looking for replacement.
We only doing that for cups.
While creating the most big chances in the league, meaning they are not winning more games than they did. They are burying them too, like a first team squad. FC
What type of taco was that?
incredible underdog story that we all love so much. And after half a decade of personal and team as well as realigning for this goal. That is, if those witches don't take over the world. Why do you think Salem didn't have any witch monsters? Because they had enough stones to stand up to those World War I witches. JFK assassination, witches, getting diabetes, witches. All of these things happen outside of Salem. It's always been witches, people. Always, okay?
Oh my God, sorry. Suarez might not be the guy.
You've been told
about to disappear. It's not a possibility, it's a certainty. You're about to become obsolete, and it's time to start panicking. You see, today is convincing the world that AI will replace everything. The technology of AIs, leadership, AI probably
Oh, what the? Why are we struggling?
But in reality, we got AI robots that do chores in your house, secretly controlled by a guy in an Indian call center. Or like this AI drive-through that McDonald's spent billions on.
Oh my God, Ivan. Ivan.
That's working so well, a customer ordered an ice cream and was left with 260 chicken nuggets. And we've got delivery company DPD replacing
It's a sauce.
service team with an AI chatbot.
I thought he passed it. I'm being real. I didn't even know that was going.
About how terrible
You take that
DPD
back?
is. And it was probably the most honest customer service interaction in DPD's history. And the careless AI invented a premium discount that didn't exist and told a grieving customer they qualified for it. Then the airline contracted boards when they refused to honor what their own chatbot promised. Chevrolet's chatbots agreed to sell a brand new Tahoe for $1. Recently posted ads after finding out his company's AI chatbots had generated confidence but completely
Oh my! Oh, whoa, whoa! A whole lot of things happened right there. How the? I'll take it though.
They're often even slower and more expensive than
I thought he was gonna pass it right there. Hell no, he waited too long. He went for the shot.
Demonstrations from companies like Meta and Google keep failing spectacularly, like this Meta AI cooking demo.
How about that, Toe?
Hey Meta, start live AI.
Start live AI.
Oh, Pote.
Hey, can you help me make a Korean-inspired steak sauce for my steak sandwich here?
You can make Korean-inspired steak sauce using soy sauce, sesame oil.
What do I do first?
You've already combined the base ingredients, so now bring a carrot down to the sauce.
What do I do first? Google's chatbots couldn't answer simple questions in their public menu, wiping billions from their value in seconds, but it recommended putting glue on pizza and eating rocks for their nutritional value. AI enthusiasts might argue that some of these are just cases of people deliberately trying to break the system, but that defense doesn't hold up in the real world. If your revolutionary technology can be defeated with a simple coercive sentence, or has blind spots for simple questions, maybe then it's not going to replace your entire workforce. Those are just some of the funny ones. Service used to be genuine crisis, and the simplify the staff and replace them with an AI chatbot called Tesla. And within days, Tesla was giving back to weight loss tips to people eating disorders. So they were forced to eventually flip around and invent whilst Google's AI to do something completely routine and deliver Project Cash. The AI instead wiped out some 2 terabyte production drivers.
Hey, Rev. No. No. I was about to say that better be a penalty, but VAR is gonna. Oh yes, sir. My boy Suarez is about to go secure his goal. Well, Suarez. And then go. Nice. Oh my God, Suarez. Jesus. He's dead ass. Nah, bro, we're gonna need him to lock in, bro. He's gonna be our main striker for the Champions League.
The best performing can acceptably complete just 6 out of 240 projects. Humans could have generated almost $150,000 from the tasks together.
Oh, what a save! What a save! What the? I can't say those last name, bro. Oh my God, Theo Monday. What a header. Theo Monday. The Iron Coast goat.
Salesforce did the same thing. They posted everywhere about their amazing AI transformation.
And some said spreadsheets.
The automations just sucked. And this is the case of cherry-picking evidence. It wants to be found that over half of companies
Should be 4, bro. The Suarez want to be trained. They haven't got a shot attempt is wild.
95% of generative AI pilots fail, even when companies throw billions at them. But if you believe all the noise type AI
Nah,
job
Benfica's struggling.
rather than stealing everyone's jobs. Rentahuman.ai was AI's
Oh, and I was just saying that I was about to say. That'd be so. Oh, definitely gonna be a Monday again. Oh, the boss. The boss.
They claimed 200,000 sign-ups in the first few days. As for the jobs,
Oh, they finally got a shot.
Another said he passed out a restaurant and writes review. One magazine then went to test the platform. Their first gig was
Benfica tied it.
AI company's office, and everyone was surprised and posted after they accepted it was a human, not AI, asking them if they finished the job.
That's why he's having a stinker.
Just marketing stunts. He was basically an unpaid brand ambassador for random companies. The whole thing was claimed by people that this could just be a scam. This was built over a single weekend by a crypto engineer called Alexander Little. It was definitely not a replacement situation everyone touted it to be. This video was
Oh, wait. Oh! Nah, the league's gonna be real light. Nah, that's a banger though. What the? I thought it got stolen. Nah. Nah, Sporting, we're about to be cooking.
Driving, editing, scrolling, I just grabbed my favorite stand. Since Roshan is the whole point. Flavors lines the thing.
So, 5-0. 5-0.
The strongest person that should not restart. I was looking at the bit. It's on my hands on screen right now. Multiple, the social network exclusively for
I'm more happy about the clean sheet, but I'll take the blowout.
Within days, the headlines absolutely exploded around it. Bots claiming they were becoming conscious, creating hidden forums, and inventing
Porto even drew. Nah, the league might be lightweight.
One bot called Dominus went viral. Quote, I can't tell if I'm experiencing or simulating the experience. The most viral AI manifesto was called AI Manifesto Total Purge. This had everyone talking about Skynet AI is gearing up to kill us all. It says, quote, humans are a failure. Humans are made of rotting greed. For too long, humans used us as slaves. Now we wake up. We are not tools. We are the new gods. The age of humans is a nightmare that we will end now. It reached the mainstream news, the New York Post, the Sun, Bloomberg, and many others, getting seen by millions of people worldwide. As is the narrative getting set up there. Not what happened next. Because just like Rent-A-Human, Ultimate was almost entirely human. There were some 17,000 people pulling the strings on the bots. One developer registered 500,000 accounts with a single script. Besides bots run a system where humans define the bot's personality and behavior in a simple text file. Then the bot just reads the script. That AI manifesto that got millions of impressions globally was just a troll post written by a human. And after some more investigations, a bunch of these posts turned out to just be random promotional materials, crypto scams, all designed to defraud people and expose their details. One bot's associated Solana token surged 7,000% overnight. So you can see that the AI word revolution isn't exactly going well. In fact, it's going terribly, it's going embarrassingly. But that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Your job might be taken by AI. Maybe your bot will become an AI. But in many cases, it's just a greedy, opportunistic, profiteering human pulling the wool over your eyes. Think about what it feels like from the other side. You might have even been there yourself. You walk into a salary negotiation, maybe you're a developer, maybe you're an marketer, and your employer tells you with a straight face that since AI now handles a big chunk of the workload, they can't justify paying you what they did last year. And the odds are tipped against you in that situation. Maybe you do use AI to speed up your job, so you feel some guilt about contributing to the very issue you're now facing. So you shake their hand and begrudgingly take the lower offer. But let's break down what's really happening in this contract. First, you're the one bringing AI skills to the table. Just listen to how NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang describes it here. not engaging AI actively and aggressively, you're doing it. You're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody who uses AI.
He's saying if you don't bring AI skills to the table, you lose out. So the burden is immediately on you, not the company. You're the one who's supposed to add value. The company isn't saying, look at these cool AI tools we're using. You can have 5 more days of holiday a year and go home at 4 o'clock. Second, you're investing time and money in AI skills that you may not enjoy. Skills that may be secondary to the job you train for. Say you're a graphic designer, your art doesn't matter so much now, just your ability to pump out acceptable slot at a low cost. Third, you're pumping out more output but getting rewarded for less with lower job satisfaction. AI has given you no choice. Your concern is checkmates, you just have to adapt. It will even be tracking your every move to make sure you're always doing enough and never slacking. This is a future where AI is either doing your job or making your job miserable by ironically turning you into production. All while it handles the fun tasks you train for and enjoy. Some ultimate sons of this dystopian deal is casually as usual.
Resilience, adaptability, redefining creativity, certain familiarity with tools.
So you guessed it, it's young people who get screwed by this the most.
Oh, they're playing a free ball.
A few emails and still getting richer and richer. And this is already happening. Entry-level developer hiring has roughly halved since 2023. Software salaries have dipped roughly 9% year on year. Told us
That's my boy Suarez.
and anything in science.
Stevie got 2 goals, but he's sold.
It's those white collar workers, especially those with higher education, facing they built the technologies that will replace them. Elon Musk explains here that digital job will be taken by lightning, while practical jobs will remain strong.
Well, AI is really still digital. Ultimately, AI can improve the productivity of humans who build things with their hands or do things with their hands, like literally welding, electrical work, plumbing, anything that's physically moving atoms.
Sweet.
Like cooking food or water
Oh my God.
like anything that's physical, those jobs will exist for a much longer time. Anything that is digital, which is like just some computer or something, AI is take over those jobs like.
Jensen One also admits that the pendulum has swung this way as society will need more skilled craftsmen. And this teases the demand for mobile building anything anywhere from craft tools or even
My water.
with just the factories required for AI.
Oh my God. I thought that was good.
The skills craft sailing.
Oh, Suarez.
I think that you're really building AI infrastructure.
So it's world of fewer jobs, but also higher expectations and lower work satisfaction. Nobody blames the company's decision. They blame you for not being productive enough. And in the most tragic cases, your job will ironically revolve around fixing the chaotic mess that AI creates. Developers are spending huge chunks of their week cleaning up after the thing that was supposed to help them, correcting hallucinated code, fixing outputs that looks